folks, we've got some new merchandise at the Chords and Notes Nation Printify store. Men's long sleeve Chords and Notes Nation shirt. Every struggle prepares you with the forge and the blacksmith. Beautiful design, simplistic, $32.99. For women, we have the short sleeve Chords and Notes Nation. Every struggle prepares you. Rose design. Each stage of the rose shows a different stage of growth. Welcome back, my friends. I am Brian, and you are Chords and Notes Nation. This is my first step into listening to the band Leprous. I believe they are from Norway. I shouldn't say it's the first. I watched what was it? They were covering an 80s song in the studio. They were given a challenge to cover it, but to make it their own sound. And I thought that was really, really interesting. What they did was awesome. I forget which one it was. If I remember and I find it again, I'll try and link it at the end of this video. But I thought, what an amazing opportunity for me on this channel to jump into a band I've only heard the name of before and never have heard anything of theirs before. So this is going to be my introduction into Leprous. The song is Like a Sunken Ship. It is an official video. It is found on the Inside Out Music TV YouTube channel from a year ago. But what I'm going to do is probably do a separate video, just kind of exploring a little bit about the band. And then I may do a series of videos. It all depends on how this goes. If it's music that just doesn't stick with me, then forget it. If it's something that I really like, then yeah, we'll see. We will see. That means you need to subscribe, because if you are a fan of this band and you want to see my journey into their music, you won't know unless you know. And the only way you know is by subscribing. You like that? Speaking of likes, there are now, I believe, what's called hype buttons or hype, that when you like a video, you can hype that video. And the more people that hype that video gets a boatload of airplay for about a week. And so you can really push this channel to new bounds. But it is up to you guys. I promise you I'm going to give you the best that I have, and I'm hoping you do the same in return. Let's get started.
Try to
This song had so many elements in it that really intrigued me, that I really, really like. I like it when a band is not afraid to experiment sonically in order to create the support of a certain idea within the lyrics. And so using music, not necessarily in a standard format, but using music freely to sort of shape and mold whatever ideas are there, and then be able to shift that music freely, almost as if it's sort of a stream of consciousness type composition, which is sort of ironic, right? Because the whole point of stream of consciousness is to just let it flow. And oftentimes that's kind of like what happens in our brains, right? Or at least some of us. One moment we're going la 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 la, the next we're going ah! So very, very cool. That's also to me the sign of excellent musicianship, that they can do that and to push whatever boundaries they need to push in order to create the moment for us to enjoy, for them to express what they need to express. Not a big enough sample size here to really get into the talent of each individual vocalist or each individual musician, but the vocalist, very, very good. He's very expressive and has such a good, strong range. Now, I want to take a look at the lyrics. So, why don't we dive into that? All right. I believe when I'm stuck, I deceive when I'm out of luck. Try to focus, to forget. Reliving dreams over and over. So I believe when I'm stuck, I deceive when I'm out of luck. Huh, that's interesting. I'm not going to go deep into that one. I like the next line though. Try to focus, to forget. You know, I think some of us with ADHD or ADD, that's sort of kind of the brain pattern, is sometimes you have to focus on something in order to forget something else. It's just sort of like, you know, something is weighing on you so heavily that it exists in the background of every thought. And in order for you to get rid of that you have to actually show some effort to focus on something else. That's very interesting. Reliving dreams over and over. Put to sleep like a sunken ship. Huh. Buried deep, unequipped. I don't complain, carry on, I won't explain over and over. So he's kind of feeling this darkness here. This and it's kind of, and then it goes into la 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 la, which I thought was fun and funny. But that's what I'm talking about. So the lyrics and the composition are married very well in these first couple of verses, these first couple of stanzas, because it had this weird, dark, dissonant strangeness, which is sounds like it's sort of reflective in the thought pattern of the lyrics. Then it goes on to, I choose to leave, but I'm back. I can't achieve what I lack. Choose to stop, sad to say, giving up over and over. Oh my God, I can relate to that. Holy smoke balls. So yeah, you want to leave something. You want to leave maybe a pattern of behavior, maybe a habit. You want to leave maybe some place in your life, and for some reason you just keep coming back to it, and you can't achieve what you're lacking. You know what you're lacking. You know what you're trying to go for, but you can't get it because you keep going back to where you were. And you've chosen to stop, but sad to say, giving up over and over. That road is tough, man. When you're trying to, like, whatever's holding you back, you're trying to break free of that, and you're trying to move in a different direction, and you keep allowing yourself to get pulled back. That is a annoying and very insane circle of blah. And musically, they were sort of painting that picture, right? Time will bend you for eternity. What I once knew is calling. Tried to fly, but I'm falling. Once again taken. How can I be mistaken once again? Calling, tried to fly, I'm falling, once again taken. How can I be mistaken once again? He keeps repeating it, he keeps repeating it. Calling, I tried to fly, I'm falling, once again taken. I will say this again, la 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 la. So I've been moving down the line, don't know how I need to find what's mine. Yeah, almost as if he's just sort of lost and meandering, but at least has the sense enough to know that wherever he's trying to go, keeps getting pulled back to where he was, and feels like a sunken ship, where it's ships are meant to move and to sail and to go places, but when they're done and it's over, they sink them, and you're stuck. But this thought of a ship, maybe that the idea, the spirit of the ship still wants to move, but it can't because it's been sunken, and it's weighed down by circumstances and by things that are holding it back. And oftentimes that, if we look at that metaphorically, we hold ourselves back by our patterns of behavior, our patterns of thought. And oftentimes it takes quite a few tries to finally get unstuck and to start moving in the right direction. And sometimes it's weird because we wind up going back to what we tried to get away from. And man, oh man, that can be a vicious cycle. And of course, there was that moment where it became more aggressive and there was more emotional, maybe some anger in there. And that's definitely something that we feel when we're going through that. So this was very cool. Okay, so they won me. I'm gonna definitely go down this path. I love the fact the marriage of the lyrics and the music was perfect for me. There was just a little bit of those odd spices of musical variation tied together in this concept of what the lyrics were trying to paint. And they are true musicians because they took the music to support the lyrics and to push those lyrics, to create this moment. So very cool. So very cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. God bless you. Jesus loves you. And I will talk to you in the next video.